And away we go, back in the studio. There it is, the Peg 37 Shield. First impression today in the mud, the snow, the creek crossings, all this goodness up in the mountains. Oh, and it was a fresh layer of snow, and then the sun was coming out, and it was just melting that fresh. So it was, once again, perfect conditions to test out a water-resistant shoe. And yes, who actually tested or trained in the Pegasus, the regular, not the Shield version, the regular Pegasus 37 from, what was this, maybe 5 or 6 months ago that we made that vlog. Remember, we cut this guy open to see what that air zoom bag is like. There it is. For everyone that was not subscribed to the channel, welcome, by the way, upper right-hand corner, in case you want to see me deconstruct a Pegasus 37. But let me know in the comments if you trained in the Pegasus 37 in 2020 and what you thought of this shoe thus far. Okay, let me put that back up there. And there is the Challenger ATR 6 from yesterday, the Gore-Tex version, the last water-resistant shoe that we tested in the mountains and up in the studio, or here in the studio. Here we go. Let's dive in. 29mm stack height in the heel, 19 in the forefoot for that 10mm slope in the shoe. Pretty high for a trainer shoe, just so you know. Usually I prefer that 6 to 8mm drop. In running shoes, we're looking at 10.3 ounces in men's size 9 or 292 grams. And let's throw it on the scale here real quick. We're looking at 9.2 ounces in my size, 9.2 ounces. And I'm just realizing right now, hold on, time out. There it is, time in. Here is the Peg, I'm fascinated, here we go. What's it gonna be, what is the difference gonna be? So we got 9.2, 9.3 in the Shield, and then regular version, 8.7. Okay, so about a half an ounce heavier, roughly half an ounce heavier for the Shield version, which makes sense. And frankly, I'm kind of surprised it's not more. I would have expected closer to, let's say, a full ounce, if not maybe a little over a full ounce heavier for the Shield version. So there is my score on your screen for the weight. We're looking at a water repellent upper with this half length weatherized, what they call the shroud that wraps around the shoe here. And it's crazy, everybody. Somebody posted on today's vlog, they said, Seth, I'm a little jealous of your weather being so dry in Colorado. Like, we're expected to get 10 days of rain. I don't know where the gentleman was from, but he said, we're expected to get 10 days straight of rain. Honestly, it's crazy. And I don't know if other Colorado residents can connect with this, but I almost yearn for a little bit more moisture in the air. It's just so dry here. Now, it's not the desert like, you know, Arizona or New Mexico, but anyway, it's just like to change it up a little bit. Sometimes the weather pattern is just like almost too consistent. So anyway, that is the upper. Loving the upper, the lockdown. So they have these midfoot bands that wrap over the top of the foot, the same bands that you'll find in the regular Pegasus 37. Epic lockdown, perfect lockdown. I'd be curious though, again, back to the Facebook group. If you are running through remember these pictures showing up on the Facebook group, if you're running in really boggy conditions where your foot is kind of sinking into the mud, I'd be curious to see how this shoe would react to, you know, where you sink in the mud and then you have to pull your foot out of the mud. If the shoe would, you know, really stay on your foot, I think it would. But anyway, great lockdown, and overall incredible score for the upper because it did its job. That's the end of the day. Now, I will come back to a couple downsides to the fact that it did keep the water out so well in the testing, including just simply standing in a creek and just letting, like, I didn't feel any water get in. It just kind of blows my mind a little bit, again, because it's all a little bit new territory for me. Okay, Nike React midsole material for the foam, and then, of course, those air zoom bags, the same air zoom bags that you'll find in the regular Peg 37. So overall ride and energy return of the Peg 37 Shield is just, I love the ride. Some people posted and said that they didn't enjoy the Peg 37 ride from earlier in 2020. I actually, and you know, I'm doing a little bit of comparison to the Peg 35 and the Peg 36. Actually here, oh my goodness, here is the Peg 35. It's just like, I would say, night and day difference between the Peg 35 and the Peg 36. They've just advanced the shoe so much. And overall score for the midsole is just a solid score, comfy ride, and I enjoy it personally. And like I would, if I had to choose between 4mm drop and 10mm, I'd probably lean toward 10mm just to help get me up on my toes a little bit more. Moving on to that outsole, they've got the Storm Tread outsole rubber, which is different actually. Actually, let's pull it off. I keep grabbing for it. So it is a different outsole pattern compared to the regular Peg 37, just so you know. And it did fine out there. I will say this is not a trail shoe. Okay, this is a road shoe. Did I mention that at the beginning? This is a neutral road shoe. But I decided to take it into some more aggressive running just to see how it would do kind of in those really muddy, sloppy conditions up there on the mountain. So don't expect to go out and crazy trail running in the Peg 37 Shield. Onto the fit of the shoe, a pretty standard score. I'm just gonna warn you, a little snug through the toe box and a little snug through the midfoot. It's kind of standard for the Peg lineup, just and I don't mind it now, but some people don't like that feeling, or you might have to get the wide version of the Peg 37 Shield, just a little bit snug again through that toe box. Onto the comfort score, 7.5 out of 10, not too shabby. Not a plush plush collar that wraps around your ankle, nor the tongue. We're not talking like some of the Saucony shoes or even Hoka shoes, or what was the shoe I tested out last week? I think it was a Saucony. Anyway, here it is on your screen. Look how plush that upper is in the collar compared to the Pegasus 37. So a decent comfort score, but not epic. My positive, of course, is the fact that my feet stayed dry. Okay, it did its job. My drawback is the fact that, yeah, it's just a little snug through the toe box, and I just want to warn everyone about that who is, considering picking this shoe up, which, yes, it is available down below from Running Warehouse. Okay, moving on to how will I use this shoe moving forward. Definitely when it snows here in Denver, getting ready for the half marathon, and that snow is melting, which happens really quickly here in Denver. We'll get, 6 inches overnight, and then by 11 a.m., it's usually not all gone, but it's really starting to melt quickly because when the sun comes out here, because we're at 5,000 feet above sea level, the sun is more intense here in Denver, so it melts off the snow really quickly. So that's how I'll be using this shoe moving forward. Now, who is this shoe best for? I want to make a really key point here that some people in the UK are commenting about this, and I just want to make sure there's a distinction between how you should use this shoe and how you should not use this shoe. If you're getting your feet really wet, whether it's, I don't know why you would need to be crossing a creek, maybe a creek floods, now this is not a trail shoe, this is a road shoe, but there's a situation where there's no other option but to get your feet really wet, like completely wet. It will keep a lot of water out, but if water does get into the shoe, some people in the UK are commenting and saying then the water is trapped in the shoe, and that's why I won't buy that shoe, because I want the water to drain out of the shoe, and I completely agree with you. So don't buy the shoe if you want drainage, okay? Once the water is in the shoe, the water is going to stay in there because it's doing such a great job at keeping the water out. But if you know that your feet are going to be splashing water and you're not going to be submerging your feet, especially below right here on your ankle, then I would recommend getting the shoe because it will keep your feet, as I did in the testing, really dry. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, moving on to that price point, $129, which I believe is $10 more than the Pegasus 37 regular. There it is on your screen right now. So would I buy the shoe again? 100%. I'm again blown away at how well it did, and will I use it for long runs? Probably not. It's most likely going to be that daily trainer, maybe middle distance day, not a tempo day shoe, but just a really classic daily trainer. For me, that 8 to 12 mile range for my training regimen. Okay, here are some other shoes on your screen that I would put other shoes that I'm testing out right now that are, falling into that water resistant category. I showed most of these yesterday in the Challenger ATR6 Gore-Tex vlog from yesterday. And yes, here are the quick specs for the Peg 37 Shield on your screen. Final early score, oh Nelly, oh so close. It was a squeaker, 7.9 out of 10. So close to breaking into the 8s. Not quite. I will keep testing for all of you in the next, probably we'll get to 50 miles, I would say, in the next 2 weeks for sure in this shoe. So, question of the day, here we go. What is your craziest, craziest wet weather running story? Where you just like got caught in a thunderstorm, hopefully you were safe, but like I've been in some very precarious situations out there where it was like crazy rain or lightning, thunder, downpours, flash flooding, and I'm trying to think of one in particular. Up in the mountains, or even when I'm over in Europe, there's been a couple situations. So anyway, that's the question of the day down in the comments. All right, I think that does it. Thanks for being here in the studio. We're going to toss it to the Nike running shoe playlist. Oh man, it's getting longer and longer. Lots of running shoe reviews right in that playlist right there. Just click on that. All right, see beauty, work hard, and love each other. See you tomorrow.